And hello everybody, it is the Heroscaper, coming to you live from Kansas City. I hope everyone's doing well today as we are entering into the twilight of fall, the end of it all of this year. And today we're going to paint our grumpy guardian, Halushia himself. I have painted him previously. I actually painted him on, I believe, a Renegade live stream, but that one was sold. So I had to get myself a new one, and we're starting. If you notice, I kind of, I got bored one time and started painting his antlers, but for the most part, we'll be diving into this, getting some paint going. All right, well, without further ado, let's dive right in. We are actually going to be starting off something I usually don't start with. If you notice, I did zenith all this, but we are going to be using some speed paint. Speed paint is great for horses and stuff like this, as you know, he's just so smooth. I hate painting horses, and speed paint is just a great way to get a great base coat as we kind of can build up and do some different things with that. And Great Warlord, good evening to you as well. I hope you're doing fine this this Thursday. Now, if I can just find where I put my paints at, we'll be doing a-okay. Alright, so we got some hardened leather from Army Painter. This is also one of my favorite colors. It's a nice bold brown. I mainly use the brown speed paints just because they're very versatile for you know, wood and fur. You use a lot of brown in painting. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that seems like your day hasn't been going well. I had the day off today, so it wasn't too bad for me. Got some stuff done, thankfully. Hopefully your day gets a bit better. Oh, that foretells some bad things right there. My twins when they were little threw like one of their toys straight into the TV, just playing around. And I had to buy a new one, so I know how that feels. I'm gonna get to a small brush. Well, I'm happy to christen the new TV in the very least. Painting all the flesh tone with this hard leather. With speed paints, you definitely want to apply it on very thick and spread it around. You don't want to you want the paint to kind of do its work. So just kind of, I guess, spread it around, but don't overwork it. You know, just put it on, and it has enough flow agent in it to go where it needs to go. New TV is better quality, bigger, and same price as the old TV that lasted 5+ years. Yeah, TVs are definitely getting pretty affordable. I was at Sam's Club, and there was like a 78 or 75-inch TV for $120. It's pretty nice. I've been wanting to eventually get a really nice TV, but I just have one of those cheap Zios for now. I used to watch a lot of movies, so it was important to me, but nowadays I don't have time for much of that. Welcome to Custom Scaper, good seeing you. Let's see. I'm just putting some down from here. Got some slot base going on today. Is there some conversion from Pantone PMS color to Army Painter colors? Not really, no. So the problem is that Pantone is its own thing entirely. It's not even like a paint brand out there. Pantone is for printing. So it's like trying to play a VHS in a Blu-ray player. There's methods that you can get some approximations and some sensors. I haven't had much success overall in the department. The best way I would do is get, so there's like color picker websites that the good thing about Pantone is that it's kind of the true color that they try to print it in. So you're not going to be like judging things based off lighting and stuff like that. And it's really helpful where they have the little swatch at the bottom of the painting guide on the website. Grab that swatch, go to like just type in Google image color picker, and that'll give you a hex code. And with that hex code, you can just kind of try to Google search Army paint colors similar to this hex code. After you select the dropper on that square. Is what I find is relatively if you're looking, some people I know are particular about matching as close as possible. What I find is just find a list of all Army color paints and just kind of eyeball it, because they also have their swatches available, and just see which one matches the most. Where did I put that paint I just had in my hand? It's kind of the vibe today. I'm all over sorts of plays. People are just kind of tired. It's going to be a sleepy, slow stream today. I literally just had it in my hand. We painting, yeah. Sort of the Black Knights army. That's pretty. Oh, the Templars you're talking about, yeah. Hold on, let me collect myself here, because I literally just had this in my hand. This happens every week, I feel like, but I lose my head if it weren't attached. Did it fall down? I don't know. It'll turn up. I'll focus on some other areas, I guess, while we're doing this. Aha! Found it. Okay. We painting, yeah. Welcome, Dastardly Doug. Oh, excited! So excited for your dude. Yeah, he's gonna be shipping here pretty soon. Wife wasn't able to make it to the post office today. I have, ever since my wife has helped me package things, I've had so many less returns because I can't package things to save my life. So when things arrive all safe and sound, you can thank her. She does a great job at helping me out in that regard. We might be doing like a double toned or highlighting with some paints, but for now I'm just getting some color on this, making use of this the Synthol we have. If you notice, I have up the Christmas tree, which is, some would argue is too early, but it was out. I didn't want to put it away. So it's up. It's in the background. Expect some Christmas giveaways coming up as we get closer to the holiday. We'll maybe give some away some paints or some gift cards. I haven't fully decided what we're gonna do yet here. I just wish YouTube had kind of like a messaging system. It's kind of a pain in the butt elsewise, but I think they got rid of that for probably pretty obvious reasons. Trying to find the Morrow Flash Base Color and Army Painter Speed Paint. So Palette Bone is a good place to start, although I think that it's a little bit too bony and not enough fleshy. You can mix speed paint colors, so maybe a little bit of Palette Bone with a tiny bit of yellow. Zealot Yellow, just like a small drop of it, just to offset it, might prove worthwhile. But I'm trying to think of other. Like I said, I'm not super familiar with the speed paint lines, just because I don't use it all that much. Is Christmas tree safe for the cats? Well, I don't have cats, so for now, the only cats I have are my children. And the answer to that question then is no. Nothing is safe with them. I feel like I just got over Halloween. Yeah, there's not a lot of time behind it. If it was up to me, I would just still have Halloween stuff up. But, you know, it's I would have Halloween for like 4 months of the year. Because Thanksgiving is like a nothing holiday. It's like up there with Memorial Day. Everyone's there pretending that it's a more important holiday, but Thanksgiving is just, it's alright. It's just a perfectly alright holiday. It's not Christmas. No, it's not Christmas. I agree. It's but it's coming. At least with how things are going for me, it's going to be here tomorrow, and then I won't have time to put anything up. So I gotta make use of my free days. Now you'll know when it's fully Christmas season on this channel because it gets all decked out. Having your dude shipped out? Nope, he's in a box. He didn't make it to the post office yet, but he should be shipping out by tomorrow. We ran out of packing tape, which put a whole kink in our plans. They should make Halloween a federal holiday? Yeah, I think Halloween should be one of those holidays that's just like the third or the fourth Saturday of October. No one wants to celebrate Halloween on like a Tuesday night. Like, just make it a Saturday only holiday. Maybe a Friday. Like, it alternates every year, but for some reason the white balance feels a little warm today. Yeah, we were like packaging up, and literally my wife pulled it out and it hit the cardboard. We're like, well, no time to go to the store today. But it's in its box. It's just waiting for its grand voyage. No, I feel like the first Saturday of October's too close. Like, you haven't like gotten to the, you have to like have a month of anticipation. I'd take the third or fourth Saturday. Yeah, last Saturday of October would be the best time to celebrate Halloween. I agree. And Christmas should be on a Friday every year, and just let's like make the holidays convenient for everyone. Like, they're all arbitrary anyways. Let's just make them conveniently arbitrary. I know there are times past tied to solstice and all that kind of stuff. Well, I don't care about that anymore. I love how you've been, Halushia, you've been anything different for this one? Just some different techniques. I've, for this one, honestly, I'm being lazier. Being a little bit lazier on this one, just because I want to get him painted, and I have a lot of guys to get done. My goal is to get the remainder of AOA done, all my figures done by the end of this year. But not doing anything too special. I did paint a really fun variant that it was a ScapeCon prize last year. Was a Halorax. I painted them all orange and gave him those colors. which I was happy to donate, but it was also sad to see him go. Got a nice surprise. Got 5 Heroscape Army boxes in. Got 4 painted crabs and 1 unpainted water Kyrie. That's fun. Yeah, I've been dragging my feet. I like paint a Kyrie warrior like one at a time. I know I should like batch paint them, but I'm just kind of like, eh. It's really I like this part of them here. Like I like the body. I just don't like painting like wings like this because you really do have to use like a speed paint or a different kind of painting method or a really thin down paint because it's just so smooth and the paint will. It's just you have to be intentional about it. But that's always fun. Can't wait to get the new stuff in hand. So got much to paint. Yeah, I feel that. Let me make sure I'm staying focused here. You just put paint on the brush and the brush on the unit. That's how you do it. It never ends. No, it doesn't. Once you start painting, it never stops. You can stop, but the work you have to do never ends. Wings are hard. Yeah, they're like that's why I've been like dragging my feet on the science too. They're just so small and dragging like it's hard to do. I just don't enjoy it. It's not like even like difficult. It's just kind of time consuming here. All right, let's get some black. Actually, let's not go. Let's go with more of a blue-black for his little spine things. We'll kind of blend these down to black. Mainly just because I don't have any black speed paint. Blue-black is one of my favorite colors to work with. It's a very versatile in terms of shading and kind of transitioning to black. Just because it's almost gray, but not entirely. Did you watch the TOV review of the book? I haven't. I had a D&D session when Tales was going over it. I do have to dive into that. Me and Tales are pretty tight, so I try to catch up on all their stuff as much as possible. If you aren't following Tales of Valhalla, definitely follow Tales of Valhalla. Definitely, I like shouting out any escape creator, really any creator that hops on. I know Mellow Man Studios was on the channel earlier. Subscribe to their channel too. They have some low subscribers. I'm trying to boost that up. Always happy to see a fellow painter. They were painting some Aubryan archers today. Things are a bit of a pain to get done. Oh, yeah. Don't tell me. I don't want to get sick again. Hopefully that, I'm sure my kids will bring it home from school to me. I just got over being pretty sick for a bit, and so I'm hoping with the cold season coming, I'm not gonna get sick again because I don't like it. Hopefully it won't spread online. You never know. I heard you could get viruses online, so. You know what bugs me most about viruses? Is they're not like even living organisms, biologically speaking. They're just like little guys that float around and they're just the worst. Like a germ is something that like exists and lives and reproduces, but a virus only survives because it's like embeds and feeds off of you. It's a parasite in the strictest and strongest form, which is both fascinating and terrifying. Yeah, it would be pretty scary. It's like on a biological level, fire has more attributes of being alive than a virus does. I think this is like the fourth Halushia I painted. It's nice when you kind of paint a model several times. You kind of start to know where the things are. You kind of get a sense of what to watch out for and the mistakes and all that. Like Tails, you mentioned the one I painted for you. That one took me a whole long time because I was just like figuring out what to do in this situation. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on Revna. I was going for Escape-A-Ween when stuff I had on my channel. I was going to release a big Revna video. I just honestly just did not have time to get it done, so it's still in development. But Revna has some interesting stuff going on. She is in a really unique position of power here. We have a general who is canonically killed, and now we have a general who can canonically bring people back to life. And you know, Revna doesn't work for free. So I think that's where the story is going. Also, we have the space station up in space and the threat of future like time storms and stuff like that. I'm excited. We're getting into some weird spots here. How do I keep the girls at bay, you handsome lad? That is the question. A large stick. No, I don't know. I don't know. Usually I just say my natural personality is enough. Yeah, there's a lot going on with the lore. I want to pick Jeremy's brain. Jeremy is one of the lore writers about it. I want to just interrogate him, but I respect his NDA, so I don't try to pressure. But man, I have a lot of thoughts. Anyone that listens to this channel knows I have a lot of thoughts. Not all of them are always right, but some of them are. Haven't been paying attention. Yeah, my wife can take them out pretty easily. She got a lot of Irish firecracker blood in her, so don't cross her. We actually went to Ireland for our honeymoon, which was really fun. It's one place I would love to go back to. See just castles and like off the highway and stuff like that. I forgot to mention, but we are using a black green for his little fur areas. Oh wait, I know who those are. Okay. My natural personality is being a darn gentleman. Welcome, Dylan. Took me a second. I think those are some of my friends commenting. It's tough because I have to know everyone's name and username. A lot of painting to do. Been able to make some good headway on some things though. Sometimes you just kind of get stuck on some things, and at least for me, it kind of pauses all other things in my life. Where I'm like just kind of trying to get over an issue, trying to figure out how like a problem, and it just all kind of piles up on me. I'm quite easily distractible, so the moment you kind of get that breakthrough moment and are just able to get something done and then move on, kind of get everything else on the pipeline is so nice. It's part of the reasons why I haven't made a edited video in a bit. I'm just kind of stuck on one that I probably should just like take a break from or stop working on, but I just have like all this footage that's just kind of taking up space, so it's just kind of it's a snake eating its own tail at this part here. See if I change my handle to YouTube. Yeah, that'd be great. Because not only do I have to know people's YouTube name, then I have to know their Discord name, and then their real name, and I can barely know my real name. Maybe it removes a bit of the mystery of the Wellspring origins, but again, at least there's enough an origin. Yeah, I have highs and lows of the new lore, so I'm interested to see where they go with it. I think it's at least enough. At least it's a lot more of a dynamic, like spot that we're in now, where we have like this peace conference arc that I've never really enjoyed because it never really made sense, and it was kind of like in action, a lot of just not things happening. So I'm happy that we're kind of in the midst of a strong conflict with a strong antagonist. Kind of gives us some clearer goals. Thank goodness Raylan will never be taken over again. As much as I don't think we needed a fourth Raylan, it's also nice that they closed the door in that book. Let's see here. More robots. Robots would be really fun. Yeah. I would love a Soulborg factory for sure. I think we're going to be heading. My prediction is that we're going to be heading towards space with Vidar. That's where the Citadel is. That's where like our next kind of big advent is going to be. And I don't know if I fully like that, but I think it is at least unique. Yeah, completely ranted for standard number. Yeah, it's just kind of like we have like they felt like they were scared to explore the ramifications of this peace conference, or they didn't really understand the source material when they first got it. So I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt, but starting a game that is a war game in the midst of a peace conflict is a slow start, you know. Like this, and then it kind of takes a while for like the ramping up into the poisoning there's just a lot of like little sublines that we've been exploring that have been more like mild skirmishes. They've like been afraid to commit to the all-out war that Heroscape was. Okay, let's get some dark gray for my buddy. Let's use some dark seep and a little bit of a... We're fighting for reasons, yeah. I like the pirates. I like the idea of a third-party antagonist kind of lurking in the shadow, but I just wish we explored. Like I don't even mind like starting off at a peace conference, but let's explore the ramifications of what went down. You know, like it kind of is vague on how the fighting happened, and I wish we had some more details in that regard. But we've learned a lot in the year. I think we're headed in a really good direction. I don't like how G.I. Joe can just create a portal to Valhalla. I will never like that. I just wish it wasn't canonical. I've talked about this before. I love the units. I love the I love the implications that or like the not the implications, the execution of it. I just don't like the lore. Like it's gonna get messy. I think we talked about this in the Tales of Valhalla podcast. It's just kind of like it's trying to have its cake and eat it too. And I don't know if that's possible. I don't really even know what that saying means, to be honest. With the pirates. You've never been to Boston in the fall? Don't do anything. Oh, I've never kissed a chipmunk enough. Yeah, I was a VeggieTales kid. I may still be a VeggieTales kid. Yeah, I feel like I like that Thorman has access to like maybe where I think it seems like there's because the Wellsprings have to get their power from someplace, so I kind of like that there's at least kind of a thematic tie, and it's kind of like a risky thing he's doing. You know, it's almost like it's not stable. At least there's seems to be some hinted repercussions of his actions. Kind of with like Valkyrie, like how they kind of made this false Valkyrie, and there was kind of ramifications with that. Like, it wasn't just like a one and done thing, so it didn't lessen the impact of it. It does seem like they're heading in a narrative direction, though. I wonder if we'll ever get Heroscape Ragnarok, because like Heroscape is so tied to Norse folklore. It's just wonder if like the end game is to end it all. You know, there's been hints with Thorman and some of his journals that he kind of embodies certain characters in Nordic Ragnarok. You know, the fact that he compares himself to a wolf and has visions of giant snakes definitely hints at his purpose. You know, I'd love to have from the Void Jorgmander, you know, kind of enter, or Heroscape's version of that, enter as kind of an end-game unit type of situation. That's a video I've been working on for almost a year now. Is just what is Thorman's endgame? Scenarios inspired paint job so far. Scenario. I'm not familiar with scenarios. What's that? What our boy is. He's coming along. His mental status, yeah. Is Annihilation, yeah. I mean I'm in pretty deep at this point. I've read the Prose Edda, the the translation of the Nordic tales of Ragnarok. Like I kind of see where everything's going, at least, but it's hard to like put into like just a short little blurb. Like in terms, because Heroscape doesn't have a one for one, like this is Thor, this is Odin. They kind of take aspects of units and stories and kind of blend them in. Like Thormund is a lot like Odin. He has this kind of fatalism. He has the blind eye, but he also has a lot like the wolf Fenrir, who is very scorned and wants to do good, but the scorn and anger he has causes him to lash out violently and things. And then my pitch is that Drake represents Thor. He is, if Jandar kind of represents fully the popular version of Odin, then, his chosen champion, wielding gifts, is Sergeant Drake. And I think that means that Vidar is going to kill Thormund. If Thormund represents Fenrir. Do you think there's much chance they do any new historical units? I think there's a very strong chance. They hear us. I think it's going to be done tactfully. I think it's going to be different. But I mean, the last creator live stream, that's the one thing people have been asking for is historical units. I hope they don't like wimp out and give us like, here's historical units, but they're stripped of their identity and like their future versions of a historical unit. I want a pure through and through, just give me a Zulu warrior, give me the Neanderthals, or just give me something very simple and unashamed of its historical presence. Give me Hannibal crossing the Alps. Give me, and there's so much fun historical units out there that I hope we get some good representation there. But they've talked about having some Afrofuturism, so some form of Wakanda showing up, and among other things, they're aware of it. I predict that they'll release Samuel Brown or Samuel Brown 2.0 as a promo someday. That's an easy win. Yeah, I think next year with the Persian Immortals, yeah, I would love it. There's a Persian army, I forget what it was called, but that got lost. They would kind of be a good like modern day replacement for the Romans, because they're like a missing legion. Yeah, but historicals is the one thing modern Heroscape is missing. It's so fun just to have. I think for sure we're having samurai. It based off the fact that the artist at Gen Con was drawing samurais, and it was kind of mentioned. I think there is room for vehicles. I would even mind like not historically accurate vehicles, but kind of like, Vorids or whatever recreates some classic vehicles. Like, I think it would be fun to have like snub nose fighters, or like kind of like take historical models and change them up a bit, like if we have to make them scaled appropriately. I'll concede them that. But no pirates with gas masks. Just give us pirates. Like that's. Don't be ashamed. The goofiness of it, that monks have a stronger attack value than an orc riding a dinosaur, is what I always loved about the game. Yeah, that's true. I'm not against it either. If we just had some legitimate, I think they try to dip their toe in with the Vords, but honestly, just some accurate. I never bought the argument that it was only the people that showed up and not their equipment. Like, are people summoned to Valhalla in the nude? Like, where do the horses come from? From the Templar? Those are just vehicles that live. You know, like it's how is a tank any different than a Soulborg at the end of the day, for summoning purposes? The answer is there's not. So I have no problem with more and more vehicles entering the fray. A hungry tank, yeah. Hungry. I like Hellforge. She's one of my favorite units from AoA. And we're using a dark orange brown as a base layer for this kind of more bone flesh stuff, or bone ivory stuff that we'll be layering up in a bit. A squad of tanks? Now that would be interesting. I think that would be hard to, I could see something kind of like a common hero that can take turns with multiple tanks or something like that. But I mean, it's possible. Honestly, I would love some form of airplane. Like, that's kind of what I'm really looking to see. Morrow tank would be really cool. I would like some more of that. I think people are scared, but I would love some big type of units, you know, more stuff like the Hive. Like, every faction should have like one Titan unit that just is kind of like a big thing that slowly moves or doesn't move at all. I would love to see that. Let's see here. I get some burnt umber because no one can cook umber properly, and just do a little bit more reddish brown in some parts here. Mimic tank, yes. I always thought a Mimic would be a great unit if they ever did D&D again. Like, you could start off the game, put 3 treasure glyphs on the field, and one of them is just a unit that is a Mimic that attacks. The hardest part about this guy is balancing all the tones of browns and greens to really not have them become all blended and just like the same color. So you really want to try to think, what's like the base color of my brown? Am I using like a green brown, a blue brown? And alternate from warm to cool colors. Mimic pirate ship? I'm fine with the Mimic anything. I hope we have some kind of unit that can like transform into other units someday, like a doppelganger-esque type of unit. I think Amaro would fit that really well. That like he can temporarily take form or classes of different units would be really fun. Yeah, we have horse, why not tanks? I am not against it. I think it's more the scaling, like I know are some small tanks, so I think it's more just has to fit on the hex base, the peanut base for the most part, you know, without too much overlap. But I know there's some. I'm bad at scales in my head, but I know that there's some small tanks out there that like 1 or 2 people sized. Let's see here. What color do I want to go to next? Go to some camo green. Optimus Prime model for Heroscape. It's been talked about. I'm sure Renegade is right now trying to figure out a method to make Transformers work in Heroscape, because they have the license. I mean, Transformers is really hot. It's probably one of their most popular things that they have. I think more so than anything else, kind of more of a mainstream. And I mean, they are fighting robots, so like they're just trying to make it happen. Scale wise, it's just tough. But I think they could do it with just different units, maybe one Optimus Prime. The hardest part is the transforming factor too. It's a I'm sure it would take a lot of work, but I'm sure they are actively working on it. Moves him in. Dear God. A mimic, yeah. I love running mimics for my my D&D parties. I'm a devious mimic user though. Like, I play mind games with them the entire time. My favorite thing to do is when I'm feeling especially ornery, is they're like in a dungeon or whatever, and it says, "Welcome to Mimic Valley," and no other explanations. And then they're just so terrified to do anything. Or just like, "Welcome to the Mimic Room," and they are stunned with paralysis. But the thing is, there are no mimics. That's that's the joke. You just gotta, if you're stretching for time and you need to, buy yourself a couple extra minutes because you're prepping things, just say, "Welcome to the Mimic Room." Have the sign, have everything there, have everyone just stress the entire time about touching anything. It's pretty fun. My favorite mimic I've ever ran was with a party was in the dungeon, and they saw a room filled with 7 chests and a diary that says, "I swear these things in here keep on moving, and all that remains is a bloody stump of a foot." And so they're just like so terrified of all the chests and all that kind of stuff. But it was the door. Door mimics are the most devious of them all. Ever throw a nilbog at your team? I've thrown like 1 nilbog, I think, one time. They just... I can't roll, so I think I forget how they're run, but I've done it once or twice. They're pretty fun, but they were too high of a level for it to really matter. They kind of went back to the starting zone after they're like level 12 and found the nilbog, and they just demolished it. Nilbog's goblin spelled backwards. For those of you with class, that references. Alright, let's get some standard green on some of this. Transformers are definitely soul work. I hope. Yeah, like if they do it, like what would their stats in class be? I could see them doing kind of what Star Warscape did, just say like all Soulborgs and Transformers count as the same species, all powers that reference them. Would be kind of fun. The thing is, they all have to have like the transform mechanic. Like it is kind of like takes so much card space, I imagine. Gen 1 here. I'm not too familiar with that. Like I've watched the Transformers movie, like the animated one. I think that's the only experience the classic Transformers I've had. Which the movie is pretty funny. It's they just killing off Transformers left and right. He's got the touch. Now we're using some standard green here just to really add some punchiness to these vines. I'm walking here. See, I don't even get it. See, I didn't have a lot of TV growing up. We didn't even have cable till I was like 14 years old. So I am woefully unpop cultured. Beast Wars. I'll have to. I'm sure my kids would enjoy it, so maybe I could watch it with them. Hopefully that would be really good. I heard that recent animated Transformers movie was actually decent. Like people were pretty happy with how it turned out. With Chris Hemsworth or whatever. Okay, we are making some progress. See, this part always gets me, the part that like bends under the legs. I always kind of miss that. This is Waspinator. My dad loves Transformers and G.I. Joe, so he's really excited about all of this. I actually, for his birthday one time, I like did some finding and I found him like the authentic, I think it was the Grimlock toy, like the original run of it. I did like a lot of like online like bidding and shopping for it, and he has it on his he has it on his bedside end table that he goes to sleep with every night. I don't remember what I paid. I think I found it for like $86. Which I don't know if that was good or bad. Alright, we're taking some of this other brown and we're just kind of going over a little bit of his fingertips here, just going to blend that in a bit. Dinobots from Transformers. See, the whole chat is just talking about things they enjoy. I feel like I'm I'm left out. I'm like, I think that's cool. Like, I have no hatred towards Transformers. It's like G.I. Joe. I'm like, I think it's cool. I just don't know enough about it. But man, if they ever got Star Warscape, forget about it. It's over. I'm talking a lot about that. Chancellor's my favorite. They got torn in half. It's like Transformers is like violent. Like, do people like canonically die in the show? Or the movies? I don't know where they are. Game over, man. Alright, let's get a little bit of yellow tonage here on the veins. We're nerds. Yeah, you're all a bunch of nerds. Why can't you all be cool like me? The coolest human being alive. Now we're using a bit of yellow green just to really punch this up here. Some SCP. Yeah, that's another thing I'm not super familiar with. When I was helping at NGC, they really liked referencing SCP stuff. Like they had a whole planet that was just SCP stuff. I'm vaguely familiar, at least, with the concept of it. HK-99 are the only figure field in Star Wars Escape. That's really the only one you need. Everyone else is just a filthy meat bag, so... I've never finished the old Republic games. Which you probably should. As a kid, I had the game and I couldn't get out of the tutorial spaceship. Like, I really like Star Wars games, but their spaceships are always so confusing just because they're like white or gray hulls, and me, who has no sense of direction, just gets lost constantly in all of them. They're pretty much like edgy Men in Black. No one wants to say it, but that's what they are. Maybe, yeah. This is actually like a real human playing this compilation. So... But I'm hoping that slap-based renditions get past copyright and this won't be taken down. It's just really hard finding music. I don't like using AI music, but it's getting harder and harder. I think even music you buy nowadays is probably AI. But I try to find artists that have songs available for purchase at the very least. A couple bucks to support them, and I mean, I don't know if I got like a license to play when I'm streaming, but I'm not making any money here. Yeah, rest well, Tails. Better soon. And the garbage chute, flat boy. Okay, now we're just doing a little bit of stippling just to add a bit of texture to this. Just kind of dabbing the brush a lot. Yeah, classical is pretty good. It's really just more me not being lazy and taking time to find it. Classical's tough because sometimes the music itself is royalty free, but not the actual recording of it. So you have to kind of take some extra steps to verify that. Here's the thing, I try to steal as much media as possible from companies that can afford it. If you notice in all my videos, I like to pull little references and stuff like that in as much as possible. I figure I think about harm more so than just actual right and wrong. Like, who's harmed? Like, if you're printing old classic Heroscape units. No one is literally making money off of that. So go away. Like go ahead and get all that done. Like that is your right as a human. I'm not as much of a fan of like trying to copy and print stuff that people are making money off of. But then again, I'm also not morally upheld to really care that much about it either way. This stream is titled How to Be a Pirate, an Ethical Pirate. I'm really liking this transition here, if I can brag myself. I've been painting a lot of green with the Dryads, and I like this transition. Just go from as blue-green as possible, working your way up to as yellow-green as possible. Alright. Let's get some bright neutral gray and start outlining his little rocky ridges. John Heroscape will not make classic Heroscape available for me to purchase, so I will print them. Yeah, that's fine. Print all the drones you can. I'm serious. If Renegade just said, hey, here's some classic units, we touched them up, did some card work for them, I would buy them. I would encourage other people to buy them. And then they made those legal tournaments, and it's just I'm sure there's legal reasons. I've talked about this before, but I would. It's just an easy. There's no production cost or nominal production cost. And you get to keep some classic stuff alive in the game, give it some new life. Especially since so much of AOA was designed to be used with Classicscape, for better or for worse. Why, welcome, Sean. Hello to you as well. Hope your Thursday is doing well. Do what you want because a pirate's free. That's true. If someone's telling you how to be a pirate, don't listen to them, because a pirate does what they want. But I'm also really big on supporting artists as much as possible. So it's the duality I live by. Like for my concept videos, I always try to find an artist in the community or someone that I know to do some of the art for that, and I try to commission them. More Morrow is definitely needed. Yeah, I think it would be cool to see some more Morrow. I have a feeling that some may pop up someday. Taking the edge of our brush and really just kind of adding a bit of highlights here. We're going to tone this down with some transparent black. For now, we're just adding some light to it. See, I think they really need to capitalize on the Morrow being gene splicers. Like, they had their defeat with the Hive, and they've really kind of gone underground and been just building up their own recursive army of Morrow Kyrie, and Morrow Soulworks is a mechanical nightmare, but like in terms of just aesthetics on the board, that thing would slap. More zombies. Yeah, I'm hoping we get some just good classic undead. Which we kind of like. We got some good, like, honestly, the spooky ranks have been doing pretty well recently with Revenue's edition. But honestly, I would love just some more classic stuff. Give us the darn skeleton cavalry. Also, like, we haven't had like a large squad like that released. I guess we've had the Kraken, but it's kind of like a different. Give us some more cavalry units. I think every general needs a cavalry So far, everything has been at least produced so far. Some mild changes occurred, like Frost Claws no longer bond with Valeric champions, and some general changes and power changes. But every unit that was revealed has been produced. With the Dreadnoughts and that wave, that was the last one remaining. So we're kind of in the wide open territory now. So no one knows what's coming next. We know that Secret of the Citadel is coming out, which, I mean, all signs pointed to it being a new kind of master set release. They mentioned that they would like to do a master set every couple years or every few years. So I could definitely see us kind of heading in that direction, which would be really exciting. But it's, yeah, I think second quarter of 2026 is going to be crazy. Based off no other knowledge, but they could have the Marlow Soulborgs have Marlow in the species slot in the card, and a special power that says this unit also counts as a Soulborg for the purpose of. Yeah, no, it's definitely there. I'm trying to think of what Soulborg synergies exist out there. I guess it would be an Utgar, Deathwalker type thing. So there's actually not a lot of internal Soulborg synergy. It's more anti-Soulborg synergy that exists. So I guess that wouldn't be. I was thinking they had a crazy bonding synergy, but I don't think they do. And we're going to use a little bit of Payne's Gray on these as well. So Renegade has to do R&D for new units, increasing the cost of stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I don't know what, they're definitely starting, they don't have the template, but on one hand, it's probably a little bit more cost, but on the other hand, they also have like a bit more control over where they want the story to go. You know, I think they've been stuck doing someone else's homework for so long, I think. You just see with the new stuff, they're kind of getting what Heroscape is. They're almost excited to give us some really, really weird stuff. Depending on who you ask, both good or bad. Oh yes, Blastotrons have a lot. Yeah, I think we're due for some non-Vidar Soulborgs. You know, I think they're my least favorite Soulborgs of the bunch. I would love to see some more Omnicrons, honestly. And we're just using a bit of pure blue here, just when we layer this down. This is going to give us a bit of fun little sparkle to the these little black ridges here. Soulborg that powered by lava? That would be pretty cool. I would buy that. I would buy any Heroscape stuff because I'm a sucker. I'm buying G.I. Joe. I don't even like G.I. Joe. They got me. That's why I honestly try to give my my unboxings and my reviews as unbiased as possible, because I just know I have so much bias going into it. I'm literally the ideal target audience. I'm just happy to be playing the game. I don't really care if it's good or weird. Especially now that it's like unpainted. I just have a fun time painting it regardless of how it turns out. Yeah, it'd be fun to have some more lava powered stuff out there. I'm hoping we get a lava king crab just to kind of make the crabs a bit more usable. They really struggle with the movement. Like, oftentimes, they just get kind of stuck behind their own lava, can't even climb on top of it. So it's something that says, like, give you +2 movement if you end on, like, a lava tile would be really, really nice. Revenant Soulborgs could be pretty neat. Okay, yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm listening. Yeah, Revenant Soulborgs would be really, really cool. I think Revenant Soul... So I think we need to explore that a bit more. Because, like, kind of had a hint of it. Like, I think you can make, like, Death Reavers. Or a Death Stalkers, you know, kind of like Revenant Soulborgs. Almost like abandoned Zedian projects that, like, they were even scared of creating. They have, like, malfunction programming. Actually, that's the obvious take. My pitch for Revenant Soulborgs is something like that would be scary for the Soulborg, not for us. Is that they pretty much like figured out how to create a soul purely as like a physical kind of code, or like it's more soul than Borg at that kind of point. Like almost, I'm trying to think of what referencing here, but like it's just like lines of holographic code, kind of that takes like a humanoid form that can like infiltrate and take over Soulborgs would be really cool. Kind of like an errant Soulborg virus. I think it would be a cool way of taking it. And we're using some transparent black right now just to blend this down. Undead Soulborgs. They could also just do like hodgepodge of like different kinds of Soulborgs. You know, you just have your Omnicrons and Zedians fused together. Yeah, something like that's just like a malfeasance program within the Zedian protocols. That just is like it hunts on the Isidorian underlayers and not Isidorian, the Alpha Prime underlayers, and just feast on metal and flesh. I'm still figuring out the transparents. Honestly, I use them. They almost feel more like inks, kind of in disguise. So you have to water them down, and they're not like you don't use them like speed paints. You pretty much kind of have to build up your layers, kind of like I'm doing, and kind of thinly blend them down. They're kind of like glazes, I think, is a better way of describing them than contrast paint. I think the transparent is kind of a misnomer. But I use the transparent black and brown a whole bunch. Transparent brown is really good for blending out leather, and transparent black is really good for like kind of creating like these shiny stones and stuff with that. But they're finicky. I will say they're probably my least favorite Pro Quill thing, and I am a Pro Quill fan. Remnant revives Deathwalker 9000. Deathwalker 9002. Okay, now that's a good idea. Collecting souls and putting them in like rusted. You know, we kind of get those rust scrap walkers that were referenced in one of the scenarios, and those follow Revenant now with the souls of Valhalla Lost. Would be pretty cool. Would be pretty metal. They would have to make them distinct enough from Eisenx, almost though. So that's why I almost wouldn't mind just like a pure new faction. Kind of like what they were doing with VC. Kind of take some of those concepts from VC, where they were just kind of like the incinerators or the glassers of the planet, and just kind of put them just a different style of Soulborg. I could also see happening, because you kind of want because at the end of the day, the Eisenx are a bit of a Morrow and a bit of a Soulborg, kind of there, but they all have like their subtleties that are unique. So we're coming along here. I'm gonna have to layer up. That was risky. That was almost dropped him in paint. Thankfully, this is the only casualty here. I need to get a big paint holder for my guy. Alright, let's see here what I want to do. So we're going to take this bright ochre, I think. And we're going to start adding some highlights to this. We're doing this sloppy on purpose because we kind of plan on blending this back down. Does it sound more like cyborgs? Yeah, I think there's definitely a thin line between them. I think they're different. I think the Isaacs are cool and distinct from Soulborgs, but like you have to be kind of careful on their theming lest they kind of get like, why isn't this just an Eisenach, or why isn't this just a Soulborg type of deal? The Eisenach's biggest thing is that they want to graft their bodies, not their minds and souls to machines. Like the Eisenachs seemingly want to live forever. Or Soulborgs kind of view themselves as part of a collective. Their consciousness lives forever, not their flesh. See, I want a Deathwalker 1000 that is like the soul of the scientist's daughter. Kind of a different take on it. Could be like for Valeric. Like the proto Deathwalker type of situation would be really cool. So what we're doing is kind of creating a mid-tone layer that we're going to blend back down, kind of using a separate color of speed paints. Some people call this kind of variations of this slap chop, or I mean chop chop, where you get a kind of multi-layer your speed paints down. Thinking about alternate Isaac paint schemes, yeah, there's a lot of fun ones. Especially with the new ones coming out that are like a different general and stuff like that. There's some fun ways to go about it. I think the Hellforge has the most expansive. I've painted a lot of Eisenachs in my time. I've painted some like royal purple with orange rust, which I was really happy with. I've done green, I've done red, I've done pure silver. Weezer. So really any primary color will work, or any metallic will work, which is really nice. I tried orange. I wasn't too happy with how my orange one turned out. Maybe we see the first ever Deathwalker made that. Yeah, I think that's the scientist's daughter I was talking about. I would love to see that. That's like a bit of story lore that like honestly inspired me to start writing, because it was so fascinating. Like this grieving scientist locks his daughter's soul inside a metal casing. It's very classically horror, in a sense, very classically science fiction. And the scientist who wants to play God, you know, I would love for her to kind of continue this tragic story. Like she's in this casing, but she's taken over and turns on her scientist father. I think there's some good storytelling to do with it. Rogue, welcome, Ocean Man. Eva Barrow. that's a reference to Xenoblade. Knowing you probably is, right? This is my good friend, Ocean Man in the chat here, who is the reigning lore champion on the Xenoblade games. And just a good friend of mine, so. The Wellsprings get taken from the past, bring a future where they perfected the Soulworks. That'd be interesting. One thing we haven't explored yet with the Wellsprings is that can you summon from Valhalla's own timeline? Is such a fundamentally world disintegrating question that I don't think they've even decided to broach it yet. But my crazy crackpot theory is that Revna is not physically reanimating people, but rather she is summoning people and pretty much bringing them, displacing them out of time. So she's just like bringing someone who dies back to life. But the fact that they are undead gives me some doubt about that. But that would be a crazy take on, like, it would explain a lot of things. What non-VC bonding with Soulborgs? That would be great. I just want, like, honestly, a Soulborg pack would be great. Just one for each faction. Give Einar a Soulborg. I think Einar should have Soulborgs. Just like very like almost like the like sentry guards that just like on a RoboCop type of deal. Found your purple Eiseneck on your Instagram. Love it. Yeah, it's definitely steal it. It's a fun one. Use some royal purples. That was one of the favorite things I ever painted, and I was sad to get that one away. Because then I painted my Eiseneck and I did the yellow, and I was sad with it. That would be dope, yeah. Alright, so let's get a different shade of. Do we want to use transparent brown? Or do we want to use another speed paint here? See, like this looks like I ruined my whole model. Like, what am I doing here? What's this? Essentially add just some bright spots to it as well. We're gonna take some olive flesh. Yeah, anything except for Vilar Soulborgs. We have tons of those. We don't need more. And I hate them all. Well, I mean, I just don't like Major Q9. I think the other ones are okay. Or Gladiatrons and Blastertrons. I've had Blastercrons. I've had some bad experiences with that. Yeah, they were a creative. I get what they're going for. It's just yellow. Yeah, it's just. I think they should have made them green to imply that they're coming from the Vorids a bit more, or I don't know. They just chose the hardest color to paint the biggest, most detailed units. Upgraded Morrows. Yeah, that's. I would love some like primordial Morrows. Like we go from tomorrow's like distant past, where they're just like almost sludge beast type of deal, like the first wave of Morrow before they like perfected themselves. I think would be really, really cool. Is it confirmed that the Vords became the Eisenecks? Indirectly, not 100%. If you look at the new releases, you see the Eisenecks, which are are like wolves or badger type of canids of some sort, fused with the Robotech technology. So, and then a lot of the staff messaged me like, "How'd you know?" They're like, "Are you a prophet, or someone telling you details about what we're working on?" I was like, "No, it just made sense to me." So, the fact that I got interrogated seems to have confirmed my suspicions. We got new snakes, which are cool, but still snakes. Maybe I'm missing the question. Yellow, orange, safety colors, and caution tape. We got a new snake, which are cool, but still... I'm sorry, I'm not following that question there. Or are you just talking about like just getting like just standard snakes from like Earth? Just like, here's an anaconda. It would be kind of funny. I would like that. Let's just find... Actually, this black brown and that olive flesh we had, just to make it light. Off gray transition. I love the snakes, so I will fight on the snakes. The snakes are so cool. They're my favorite faction, so I was so happy to see them. But I get why some people don't like them. They're a little buff. They're a little unusual, but they're so cool. Like, the snakes are my favorite. I honestly thought we would never see snakes again, so I was overjoyed to see them. But I'm trying to remember, the Vipers evolved from snakes. So the Vipers are actually just aliens from the planet with the Morrow. So actually these new Morrow, the reason they look so weird is that they're actually escaped from a Morrow lab where they were doing genetic testing on them. That's how they got... These are actually the snakes they got the DNA from for Wosaga, it seems to imply. Because they use snake DNA to make that Morrow. Hoping for something else. No, I was doing happy dances. I was like, oh yeah, we got our snakes. It's just a classic Heroscape faction. Like, they were there from Wave 1. And they haven't gotten a lot of love recently, so it was nice to see them return. And we're just kind of going against the grain of this beard here. Just catching the highlights. Anaconda, a common hero of Vipers. I do hope we get some Earth Beast in the fray. Like, I think it'd be kind of fun just to have like a brown bear, and the Frostclaws are like, what's this thing doing here? Or just a big old snake. I think some Earth Beast would be really fun to have in the mix. We honestly need some large beast for Halushia. Not to be confused with Halushia. And yeah, the custom escape, yeah, I mean, everyone has their things they love. So you know, I'm sure I was just personally really hoping for the snakes. But everyone has their own factions. I'm hoping we get a big lot of historicals. Once that happens, a lot of people will be really happy. That's the great thing about Heroscape is you never know what you're going to get, but that's also the bad thing about Heroscape. You may not get what you're hoping for in that set. Yeah, they came with the second edition. Yeah, they've been there from the beginning. New soldier of the game. I will not stand this snake slant. No, it's fine. Some new soldiers would have been fun, but we have so many soldiers coming with G.I. Joe. A hippo and his 3 wives. Yes, hippos. Well, the problem with hippos is they would be the most OP unit on the field. It's just like an insta win if you field them. So. Soulburst tomorrow, yeah. There's some classic factions that need to be revisited, and I think a new Morrow Warlord would do numbers. I'm hoping for a Morrow scientist, some kind of like weird guy with like claws and glasses that does like all the genetic experimentations. I think would be a really fun thing to the mix. I'm hoping for something with some War Witch synergy too. It would be fun to get a new Kimoshi that serves Revna with just the Witch tag. Would be kind of nice. Alright, where do we want to transition this to next? Let's get some... Do we want to go transparent brown? I'll be happy that's true. Alright, so we got some transparent brown. I cannot say that. Transparent brown. So when you use this kind of stuff, you just definitely want to kind of pull it out and thin it out. Yeah, H.E. Carvin, dude, yeah. I wish he was better. I don't think he's a very good unit, but I think he's fun. I like when my nostalgia's pander too, to certain extents. It is nice seeing him again. See, the thing about with the transparents is they're a lot more thick than speed paints, for better or for worse. Like you have a bit more control of the opacity, but if you just slap it on there, it's just pretty much just a paint at that point. Do you think Wasago was developed from a Viper? That's what it says in the in her bio, I believe. It's more implicatory of whether they stole the DNA and crafted her from it, or if they modded the DNA to replicate the Vipers. It's a little open to interpretation. What's the exact phrase? Now I gotta look this up here. If the bios work, it may not, because let's see here. They've engineered themselves into super species. They grow organic weapons and they fuse their organic bodies with refined ore, making themselves into weapons. They produce beings with such supernatural intelligence that they can invade the minds of other living organisms. One of the great successes of the Marl's recombinant technology is the building of the Hive Wars. These superorganisms have few genetic equals on the world, Wasaga genetically constructed to mimic the traits of the Marl Viper enemies is one success. So it seems that they took that DNA and they kind of formulate their hive lords. And the question is where they get the DNA. It's from the Vipers themselves. At least based off the new bios. I have read the codexes a long time ago. Those are like my favorite things to read in times past. The codex, for those not aware, it was like a Heroscape self-published magazine with lots of interviews and analysis and all that kind of stuff. I kind of hope we get like a resurgence of that in this modern era. It would be great. All 11 of them? I'm sure I did. I mean, it was so long ago. I can't speak honestly yes or no, but I read them voraciously, and I tried to read whatever one I could at the time, because at the time I think it was like 13 or 14 when they were coming out. So we kind of created a dual tone with this, putting it down. Kind of turn that sloppy little highlighting into a smooth blend. Alright, hair's looking pretty good. Let's see if he was able to print them out in color. That would be really fun. I would love to have them on my collection. Alright, what do I want to go to? We're going to do a little bit of dark ivory mixed in with the previous color. Actually, we're going to mix it in with the gray, so we give it a off-white tone just for the final bits of highlights here. And we're not doing all of it, we're just trying to catch some areas. The light would catch. Like the idea of a king crab with bonding? Yeah, that would be, I would love to see it. Bonds with the scions, get the crabs into the mix. Because I even think you can make him in such a way that he doesn't have like direct bonding with the crabs. Kind of make him like a, pretty much like a Venok warlord for the crabs. Just kind of make him a strong unit that sits in the back at the end of the game and just enhances crabs, you know. Something as simple as gives him +2 movement and +2 to lava rolls would make the crabs a lot more interesting. Give him like a fun explosion special attack, and you're cooking. But I think there's a lot of things you can do with the crab. You know, I think it would be fun if, you know, he had the ability to take lava fields off the map and heal himself. So for every like lava tile he crosses over, you can like roll the d20 or once per turn or whatever, and he picks them up, and then he heals. That way it's kind of like a cycle. The crabs go out, they drop the lava, he comes in, he heals. Or he uses them for like a special attack. If he gets 3 lava tiles on his card, he does this really big lava plume attack. I think there's some fun stuff to do with it. Crap jumps. chip and crab flash. We're just doing a bit of a dry brush on this hair here as well. It's thankfully the hair is very textured, and we're just kind of able to catch these edges. And then we're doing that ivory just for the final pass over. Okay. What time are we at here? We got a little bit more time. What do I want to do for horns? Do I just want to keep on dry brushing? I think that's the best way to do it. Why make things more hard than they need to be? What color to dry brush is the question. Ivory, almost like a cooler. I'm just talking to myself here. Oh, we got some bone tone. That's what we'll do. Take some bone from Pro Acryl, and that'll be our kind of our secondary. So we have here a texture palette that you can use. It's a little bit better than using a paper towel. Just maintain that moisture a bit. It's just a 3D printed thing I got online. And this collects the excess paint a lot better. And we are going against the texture of the grain. Creating some natural blends and highlights here. You can layer dry brushing, so it's, you can do a couple passes, and with each pass you should get it a bit brighter. A giant crustacean that can bond with other small medium crustaceans with special ability to drop molten lava and ignore small medium sized figures with moon stack, and I think that'd be kind of fun too. I think there's tons of room for it. It depends if we want to keep it simple, if we want to actually make the crabs competitive, or just make the crabs even more wonky and fun. Like, I'm kind of fine the crabs just being designated to casual play, and just being even more, what's a faction like that in Classicscape? That's not good, but is really fun. Like the wolves are kind of like that. They're not very good, but they're kind of fun. Super lava crab. Now, what is the most casual squad in Classicscape? I'll have to think on that. we're just doing a little bit of ivory for these topmost parts, just to stand down. We'll add a soft. So you want to be very careful when you do this to make sure you remove the excess, otherwise you can clog up all those details. This honestly feels like cheating when you use like things dry brushing effectively. It's like that would take me a long time to individually highlight. Now let's just tone it down just a tiny bit. Casual as invisibility or just like a generically decent squad. Yeah, like what squad is like, it's not good. It's not going to show up to a tournament, but it's kind of fun to play. Giant mintish shrimp crustacean, yes. I'm trying to think what's just like a goofy little squad. It's not very good. That's not like bad. It's not like bad. Like Drudge are bad. And Romans or archers are bad. They're not like fun in how bad they are. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it. I have to remember every squad in existence. Because there's some heroes that do that. Like Deadeye Dan is kind of just a fun unit that's not very good. Maybe Gorillinators, like they're not very good, but they are kind of fun. Like if you play Gorillinators right, like they can ping all over the place and do this type of stuff. I think maybe like a Morrow Hive, Morrow Swarm Army is slightly good, but it is kind of fun at the same time. We got some pallid bone here. Just gonna kind of. I like to use speed paints to kind of tone down some things, so I go a little high. Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever get new crustaceans. I remember in Discord people were talking about pill bugs, roly-polies, which are surprisingly crustaceans. Yeah, Morrow drones, I think, kind of fit that. You know what? It's not a common squad, but Wretches of Bogdan are kind of that niche I'm thinking of, where it's kind of like if you get like a chain of events to happen right perfectly, they're really fun. But you have to first summon them in, then you have to drop them, and then you have to attack a unit, and then you have to roll all skulls. And if you do all that, you get to insta kill something, and it's really fun. I've insta killed a Hulk before with them. I've also played games where they've never been able to drop. That's true. I would almost say Nagrubs are too good, though. Like, I don't like when I see Nagrubs on the field, because I know they got a big mean guy behind them. There's something bigger than the Nagrubs they show up with. You know what? Something like, I figured it out. Warriors of Ashra. They are almost good, but they're kind of only good in the right situations. I think they're kind of the trope I'm trying to think of here. They have a really good ability, but no bonding, no synergy really, and they kind of just do their own thing. But the thing they do is really interesting, I'd say. Yeah, the lobsters might be the size of current crabs. Yeah, that's. I can't even imagine how big those things are. All right, let's add just a little bit of highlights again after we tone this down. We're gonna go back through and just bring it back up. Just catching the edges here. I see more of the scavenger tag being used because that's a pretty interesting tag that hasn't been used really besides the crabs. Some space scavengers, or I kind of wish the reavers were considered scavengers. Yeah, I think all samurai kind of fit into that build. The Tagawa samurai especially, just they are fun to play, but maybe not the best units in the whole game. But if you get like the Tagawa samurai just popping off, they're crazy. They're probably the most classic unit that needs that multi-life. But Tagawa Samurai in the end game, if they're just kind of left over, they're a menace. Honestly, we need kind of a modern Counter-Strike unit. It'd be nice. Two things I think we're really missing from the modern Scape experience are carry. Like, we really need some kind of carry unit, and Counter-Strike. Those are kind of like classic Heroscape experiences, and also something to take over permanent control. You know, another Nigaxa stand-in would be really, really appreciated. Just for those fun classic. Everyone has a Nigaxa story. Everyone has a Counter-Strike story. Just taking that transparent, just kind of blending it back down. Okay, let's get a bit of this. Dark orange brown, and just add some remedial highlights to the face. Also might need to be a bit brighter. It looks too similar. Let's take that brown and mix with just a little bit of yellow ochre in. Ruts riding a Spinosaurus. Every dinosaur possible is what we need. Spinosaurus would be great. I think I would love like a Grut riding like some kind of woolly rhinoceros, like that, like war drummers type of deal. I would love Gruts on pterodactyls. Give us the mastodons and the, you know, because the Gruts have the advantage of being both dinosaurs and prehistoric animals, which is nice. There's a lot of, you know, have Gruts riding giant sloths would be kind of fun. Stegosauruses, Ankylosauruses for like the very high defensive units. It would be really fun to have like a squad of Gruts just on like Grut Cavalry would be really fun. Different dinosaurs for each one. Dinosaur blend itself with the dinosaur type. Yeah, just make a beast. Beast have a lot of integration. I've seen this thrown around. Some people say like we bring in like dinosaurs from Earth and just they kind of they're just like there as Earth's summoned beast. Contrary to the dinosaurs that just grew up on Grut separately. Yeah, I think some like pterodactyl scouts for orcs would be really fun. See, I would love to see some like future dinosaurs from Grut, like have them have like a, like a Ankylosaurus with a laser for a tail or something. Kind of, I would be fine with that. If you ever played Smash Up, they have like a fun Techno Dino faction that I would love to kind of see integrated. All right, let's. The eyes going here. If I can find my black paint. And stretch my back, which is good. It's good to stretch. I swear it's right here, but I've been wrong before. And I'll be wrong again. Transparent lines. Let's see here. Might be at my other shelf. Oh wait, here it is. There we go. Pterodactyl beast, I can carry in a few arrow grits, yes. And misplace more stuff, yeah. Gruts riding large vipers. I would love some like prehistoric vipers would be really cool. Just like actual, just big snakes. Yeah, I have no organizational abilities. Alright, we're gonna get a little bit of that one. We're gonna get just pure yellow here. To get some fiendish yellow from Army Painter. And we will dry brush this shield just a bit. There's still a bit of moisture on this, unfortunately. Always check your dry brushes to make sure there's no moisture in them. Thankfully we're blending this down, so we should be able to recover. And Vipers require neon tea. I mean, possibly. They are, they're very legally distinct, but very similar. The edges here. then we are going to do something here. Where is my super suit? I am looking for another one of my speed paints. I swear I put all this stuff out before I start. Alright, I'm going to grab this Ruddy Fur speed paint. Oh, the original module. I don't even know when that was from. See, I'm a baby to D&D. I joined 5e. I haven't been through the trenches really. I'm just a poser. I guess 5e has been out for a while though, so I'm just old now. And we're using this ruddy brown just to create a different kind of brown. See, I like this guy. He uses a lot of techniques that you normally wouldn't use for your model. It's a rare speed paint night for. I always say I'm the slowest speed paint user around. All right, now we're good there. I would love just some little green men, like just some Martians. I think that's something that's really missing from Heroscape. Like we have the Mara, we have like alien adjacent things, but just my pitch is like a galactic federation of like kind of just bunch of different units. Like the Lost Astronaut, yeah, that was a fun one. Skywhale and the servers helped pitch that one as like as a guest designer for it. For those who don't know, NGC was like a customs group similar to like VC and stuff like that, and I did a lot of design work for them. I did a lot of the painting and art and promotional stuff, which I love doing. The back of the card and some of the promotional material featured a bunch of pretty much the astronaut figure from VC is from NGC is pretty much like he's a disbanded spectral of light. So what I did is I took like 20 of them and painted them all in a prismatic shift going down, and that picture was almost 99% taken in camera. I just added a little bit of like compositing of like just texture and stuff like that on the end, but the picture itself was in camera. Because I had a lot of fun. NGC is ended in not the best way, but man, I enjoyed being in a little corner just getting to design some guys. Getting to a point where I can call it done for tonight. Or done-ish. much like George Lucas, maybe I'm never done creating. And I should stop when I'm ahead. But stay tuned for Halushia Special Edition. See, Pro Acrylic paints are really nice, but they are a bit tricky. Like, you have to kind of go back because they dry a lot more matte and dull than they first appear. You have to do multiple layers to get that vibrancy you want. Okay, we are coming along. Yeah, they had some fun stuff going on. I learned a lot when I was there, which I think is as an artist and as just creative. I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that, because that's kind of what inspired me to keep on doing what I'm doing, to kind of just to keep on painting, keep on making content as much as I can, because it was a fun environment for me just to experiment and try new things with. So I have nothing but positive things, at least from my own experience of it. But yeah, they definitely were trying to think outside the box, which is nice. VC's really nice, but they're sometimes hesitant to change problems from Classicscape that could have been updated or fixed. They're a bit by the book, for better or for worse. But they were doing some crazy stuff. I was sad because it kind of fell apart when I was actually starting to pitch some units, and I had some, I have wild ideas. So I like taking units that are really bad and saying, how do you fix this unit? So I appreciate how Age Annihilation has, at least Renegade does that with some units of their own lineup. Like, oh, the Olar Kyrie are really bad. How do we make them somewhat viable? I am interested to test out the elites. I feel like they could either be surprising or still just as bad. Alright, let's get some bold titanium white here. Very carefully just put on the edge of her brush. And we're going to poke out the eye. Little bit here. Hairbrush. More water units. We need more. Yes, I would love some. I would love some stuff that like pops out of water, like drags people under. Would be really cool. I guess we have to do his teeth too. How do I make his teeth? But like with the Guillory, we have like a whole undersea factions that could kind of rise up. We'll have to blend that down a bit, but. We're just doing some final highlights using the colors we had in our palette and just kind of making this thing pop a bit more. Losing the edge of her brush just to kind of catch some sightings and some brace surfaces. More water competitive maps. That's interesting. Okay. I think we need bridges a lot. And by proxy we need water. I think people are scared of bridges, and I think we need some more bridge competitive maps. But like maps with just a bunch of water, that would be interesting. Water's tough because it makes the game go slow, unless you're prepared for it. I could see it be like I would love to be like a more map-based events compared to just, because currently like we try to make all the maps very balanced, very useful. But I would love to say, hey, we're running an event and there's like a pool of just weird maps, tons of water, tons of lava, like, and you have to kind of like, that's the event format, is just be prepared for some wacky scenarios. Full-size ships would be interesting. I would like, maybe not like full-size pirate ships. I would like more interactive vehicles on the field, like boats, like Viking longboats type of deal, where you can move like two figures down a river or whatever. Like, that would be pretty cool. Same modes. Oh, like buildable ships would be pretty fun. I would like vehicles as draftable units in the game. Like, you can just kind of get things. Like, I wish cannons could be drafted into your army or stuff like that, so you can just kind of build around how broken they are and cost them appropriately. You know, you can just put. It's not like a character, but you can just spend 100 of your points to get a ship that transports you around, or a tank, or something like that. Some kind of vehicle integration would be really cool. Ship graveyard, yeah, that'd be pretty fun. I hope competitive users just build ship maps. I know they're just going to avoid it like the plague, but like, I think it would be really fun. The ships are so cool. It would be fun if it was like the whole map was just like water, and then you had like just ships throughout, like a crash, and that was the map, and you had to like go from ship to ship, and then there was like a roaming kraken monster or krakenlings or whatever in the water that would just attack you at the end of the round, controlled by like a neutral player. That would be a really fun scenario or game mode, I'd say. Yeah, all the game modes we have are the same. Kill your opponent. Yeah, I would love a little bit more. I don't like scenario play, but I think there's some room for some alternate win conditions out there. That's not just kill all your, like, we're killing your opponent is not the optimal choice type of deal. I like to play modes of games where it's like, if you kill all your opponent's uniques, then they lose the game. Because then you have like the commons to run resistance, but then like they have to be a lot more tactical and use them a lot more defensively. I mean, that's a lot more fun. It makes order markers value a lot more. Scenario water, you can roll attack dive for Kraken. Yeah, something like that. I like roaming or like neutral monster type of stuff. I think they add a little bit of versatility. That's not to say I don't like kill 'em all formats as well, but like I wouldn't want to go to a tournament that was just like scenarios, because I think that's like a different mode of play. Like I'm playing a scenario, like, and most scenarios are kind of just kill them all. You know, I think King of the Hill is a fun way to play. Capture the flag. You just need different kind of maps for those, but different units definitely get a shine in those kind of formats. Yeah, there's gotta be some. The problem with like some bad units become so insane. Like Sayland becomes insanely good. My pitches make it like Halo's Jugger Ball, or whatever it's called, where if you have the flag, you can't use any power, and your movement's reduced by 3, and only heroes can get the flag. That way, it's not just spam. It's like you really have to choose those strong heroes. And you need just a completely different kind of map. You can't just use a competitive map because you'll be there in 2 turns. Or 1 turn for some guys. Did the Heroscape survive because of turn events where it's killed them all? Heroscape survived because the fans kept it alive, I'd say. And those fans like to play kill them all. So the answer to your question is yes, but like the showing your work is kind of a bit more of a complicated answer. A lot of stuff is that Heroscape is now is because the hardcore fans who like the intense tactical formats have kept the flame alive for so long. Or have events where you can get more points for completed events, can give you auto wins. Yeah, I think we're gonna hit like a new wave of tournament operators. It's tough because a lot of people just like to play kill 'em all. Like it's the easiest and most tactically satisfying way to play the game, I'd say. It's you don't have any gimmicks necessarily obstructing your victory besides the units themselves. People like to kind of know what they're getting into, but I think we just need more semi-casual tournament type play to kind of just have space for that. Oh yeah, there's definitely some variations, but they all fall into 2 forms, which is deathmatch or scenario. And scenario definitely has a lot less use compared. But there's things like treasure trove. There is things like dungeon defender. There's definitely some fun game modes out there that are worth trying. Just might need to look at BattleTech for the level of tactics. Yeah, I've never played it, but I heard it's a pretty tactically satisfying game. I have so many games I just want to play, I just don't have anyone to play them with. And it took me years to talk to the Heroscape community. So approaching a new community is in of itself hard for me to do. Alright, we're gonna get a little bit of some fluorescent. And I definitely misread that at first. I put an I in there for somewhere. I was like, oh, okay. It's simple play and tactics are level 3 out of 10. Yeah, it's not a hard game, but it is a game where your decision points do have an impact. To those who say Heroscape is just luck, I'd say it's 20% luck. People who win know how to maximize the luck or their odds to their favor the most. Okay. I think we are getting to a point where I'm getting pretty happy with this right here. I'll have to do some touch-ups. Fix that right there. I'll put some moss over it and cover it up. But our Grumpy Guardian is almost finished. I'd say he's about 90% of the way there. Thank you all for chatting on with me and keeping me focused on getting him to a point where I'm satisfied with. I'll be sure to post photos with them all based up and finished when we are done with this. And I think next week is Thanksgiving, so I most likely won't be streaming next Thursday. I might be doing it a different day, or just working on some backlog of edited videos. To be determined. You can certainly chat with me in my Discord or message me. I try to respond back as much as possible. And yeah, so we're kind of wrapping up the year. Things are going to be kind of slower or a little bit more sporadic as the holidays are approaching. If I don't see you for Thanksgiving, I am thankful for everyone that hops in and gives me your insight and things to talk about. And you know, without you all, this really would be a boring endeavor. So I really appreciate my subscribers and the people that hang out. But other than that, I think that's about it. My figure looks bigger on my HD TV than on my laptop. Yeah, you gotta put it on the big screen. I did look at them very briefly. Not. Oh, you changed your name on me. That's why I was like, you're. But I did glance at them, not in depth. They are pinned on my to-do list for sure. But they looked interesting. There's a lot of reading, and I'm just getting back into that flow of deep dive. I for sure wanted to check those out. But I think we were about good. Use some speed paint techniques, some dry brushing, some blending. A lot of useful stuff here today. We do need some holiday stuff. Oh, don't get me started. I want leprechauns and Santa Claus, so that's a whole different subject right there. That's where things take care, James. Thanks for stopping in. Great Worm Lord, I hope your day gets better. Hope your week turns around. And I think I'm going to sign off for lack of things to say. You all take care.